It's easy enough to say the Orlando Magic are back after an upset win over the Los Angeles Lakers, but it's how they get the win and how they've been winning lately that shows us the Magic might be back today on Locked On Magic.
You are Locked On Magic, your daily Orlando Magic podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And you are indeed Locked On Magic. Today is February 25th, 2026. My name is Philip Rossman-Reich. I'm the senior writer over at OrlandoMagicDaily.com, credentialed member of the Orlando Magic media since the 2012 season. On today's episode of Locked On Magic, the Orlando Magic find a way, grit out a victory over the Los Angeles Lakers. They're coming home 3-1 on this West Coast trip. Why how they've been winning lately is the proof they're back. Not that they've been winning lately. It's how. It's always the how. We'll get to that coming up here in just a moment. First, we want to thank you again for making Locked On Magic part of your day every day, no matter when you listen to us, whether it's first thing in the morning, whether it's right when we upload. We truly appreciate you making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. We truly appreciate you. We truly appreciate you making Locked On Magic part of your day, we truly appreciate you for being one of our Orlando Magic dailies, our everydayers. It's 2 a.m. It's almost 3 a.m. It's really late. We truly appreciate you for being one of our everydayers, our Orlando Magic dailies who listen 5 days a week, who listen on the weekends when we do our weekend episodes, who listen as part of your regular podcast rotation, who listen as your first listen of the day, who are part of our everydayer club. We want to thank you again for helping make the Locked On Magic community such a great and still growing a community. Still plenty of time to jump on the bandwagon if you find us. And thank you for helping make the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network. It's your team every day. I want to call attention not to the fact the Orlando Magic won this game, not to the fact that the Magic went 3-1 on this road trip and could have gone 4-0 if not for a miracle Jalen Green 3. I want to call attention to how the Magic won this game. More specifically, the play, the proximate cause, the play that won them this game. It was Paolo Banchero, with the Magic down by 1, last possession, like 28 seconds left. It was Paolo Banchero bringing the ball up the court, dribbling and probing confidently, picking out his matchup that he wanted, DeAndre Ayton in this case, and getting to a spot on the floor that he felt comfortable with. It starts, like everything does, with your star playing with confidence. We're going to talk more about Paolo in our second segment because he is part of the story, but he is not the story tonight. It started with Paolo playing with that level of confidence. So when he pulled up at the free throw line, it wasn't like, oh no, not again. Oh no, he's settling it. That's a star taking the star shot, and I trust the star to make that shot. Well, Paolo didn't make the shot. Still struggling on that front. We'll get to that. He didn't make the shot. But that's not the end of our story, obviously, because you see the score on the rundown, the Magic won the game. It was Anthony Black getting in between at least 2 Lakers. It might have been 3. And finding a way to get his hand on the ball, finding a way to try and scratch out this rebound. What has been missing from the Magic for so long this season has been this sort of will, this determination to win, this determination of, I am not going to let the other team get this basketball. I am going to make sure in this critical clutch moment, again, like this is just narratively so rich. I'm going to make sure my team has a shot at this thing. And so when Black got his hands on the ball, when he was able to wrest that ball free, he wasn't able to catch it cleanly. It kind of squirted out of his hands. But the ball was alive. Magic had a crack at it. And the ball fell exactly to who it needed to fall to. Wendell Carter at the basket on the block for a layup to put the Magic up by 1 with 6 seconds to play. Now, that's still plenty of time for a Lakers team with Luka Doncic and LeBron James and Austin Reeves. There's a reason why the Lakers had not lost a game by a single possession all season long, why they were 16-3 or 16-3 in clutch games so far this season. They are tough to beat because they have tough shot makers. And so JJ Redick put on his little football play and was able to get Luka Doncic a decent look. The Magic a little confused on a switch on a screen. Anthony Black late getting through the screen. Doncic had a 30-foot three for a chance to win. But because the Magic had done their work early, had done their work throughout the course of the game to defend and keep him off balance, he didn't feel comfortable taking the shot. And you can listen to Locked On Lakers. It was probably be on Locked On NBA as well. Breaking down why didn't Luka take that shot? That was their best chance to win. And maybe it goes in, maybe it doesn't. Maybe we're having a different conversation if it goes in. But he shuttled the ball off to LeBron James. LeBron got a shot over Jonathan Isaac, hit off the back iron, nowhere near good. The Magic escape with the 110-109 victory. Those final two plays, like again, not all of it's in your control. There is an element of luck. This is why I don't like close games. This is why I tell you, good teams don't win close games. They avoid them because sometimes the ball doesn't squirt to Wendell Carter. Sometimes it squirts right to a Lakers player, and that's ball game. Sometimes Luka Doncic hits the 30-foot three, and you just live with it. Sometimes LeBron hits threes over Magic defenders in Game 2 of the 2009 Eastern Conference Finals. That stuff happens. But that's not what happened this time. And it's because of the Magic's grit. It's because of this determination. It's because of this return to their defense that they were able to survive a night when they shot really poorly from three, 9 for 29 from three. And I believe 4 of those threes came in the fourth quarter. It's why the Lakers shot 9 for 29. The Magic were 7 for 29 from three. I knew that wasn't right. Magic were 7 for 29 from three. They shot 45.7% from the floor. Could not make a shot to save their lives. We're just 4 for 12 on fast break points. We're 5 for 12 on second chance points. They got the one that mattered. Only 29 of 54 for their 58 points in the paint. The Magic left a lot of points on the board. They fouled a lot too. The Lakers, number one team in getting to the foul line, of course. 28 free throws. They missed 8 of them. Door was left open, just like last year in Los Angeles. But this game came down to grit and defense. Orlando got stops when they needed to get stops. They didn't let their poor shooting drain their energy as they have for so much this year. And if you're looking for any sign that the Magic are back, if you're looking to say, oh, this is Orlando Magic basketball, this is the basketball we've been missing all year long, this was a game where it delivered. As I mentioned yesterday, Orlando has climbed up to 13th in defensive rating. They're 113.4 defensive rating. They're only 0.7 points per 100 possessions behind Minnesota for 10th. So this team might still end up being a top 10 defense after all the struggles they've had. They're up to, I think, 15th since December 7th when Franz got hurt. In the last 10 games, not a big sample, not a small sample, just a sample. In the last 10 games, the Magic are 6th with a 108.7 defense rating, while their offense is still a little bit of a mess. Obviously, they're struggling to make shots. Obviously, they miss Franz Wagner a ton. Their bench is kind of in shambles. The Magic are back to defending at such a high level, at such a strong pace, that they're revealing their grit again. They're confident they can still win when they miss shots at the rate they miss shots. And look, that's not the identity we wanted for this team. We wanted this team to be more confident offensively. And look, generally they are. They're outside the bottom 10. Like they're doing things offensively. But the basis for everything the Magic were trying to do was always this defensive grittiness. And so you have a game here where against these 3 megastar players, Luka Doncic has 22 points. He's 8 for 24, 2 for 10 from 3. Still 9 rebounds, still 15 assists, still did Luka things. You force LeBron James into 5 turnovers for his 21 points on 8 for 13 shooting, 2 for 6 from 3. Austin Reeves goes scoreless, goes without a field goal in the first half, he ends up 6 for 16. And yeah, his little scoring binge in the third quarter gave the Lakers their largest lead at 12 points that Orlando had to erase. He finishes with 18 points. The Magic had the defense that could bother those star players. And it wasn't perfect. Orlando still gave up, I think, 111 or 112 points per 100 possessions. It wasn't, they still fouled too much. They still gave up some key offensive rebounds. They had to adjust and struggle with some pick and roll stuff. The Magic are not where they want to be yet. But for the first time in 4 months, 3 months, for the first time since early December, if not late November, there is a swagger about this team. There is a we're going to hit you first mentality to this team. For the first time in 3 months, it just feels like Magic basketball. And maybe we've had some false starts on that before, but here we are. The Magic have won 6 of their last 8 games. They are coming home from a 3-1 road trip that probably should have been 4-0. This is a team that is suddenly playing with a lot of confidence and a lot of assuredness of who they are. Flawed as they may be, this is a team that believes they can beat anybody. And a big part of that is because their leader is stepping up. We've talked about him before. We'll talk about him again. It's Paolo Banchero stepping up to the plate in some unexpected ways. We're going to talk about that coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. Ever wanted to experience the NBA Finals live and in person? Well, FanDuel is giving you the chance to turn that dream into reality with their NBA sweepstakes. Here's how it works. Use your profit boost on any NBA future, and you'll automatically be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for 2. That's right. Flights, tickets, the whole experience. If you're already looking at the board and thinking about which team can make a deep run, this is the perfect time to lock it in. We went through some of the odds yesterday. The Orlando Magic still kind of in the back of the pack for teams that can make the Eastern Conference Finals or make the NBA Finals or win some of these awards. If the Magic make a little bit of a push, now's the time to get in. Like, we all think the Magic can make a push after the All-Star break. Go find your Magic future of choice. Anthony Black for Most Improved Player? Absolutely. He's in that running. Magic to make the NBA Finals? Sure. Why not? Go for it. This is the time of year to get in on futures. And now you get the added bonus of the chance to make it to the NBA Finals. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Use your profit boost on an NBA future and get entered for your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. We want to thank you for making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. We want to thank you for helping make the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network. If you haven't done so already, take your Locked On fandom to the next level with the Everydayer Club. With the Everydayer Club, you get access to the members-only Discord channel to chat Orlando Magic basketball with our growing community, as well as join the Locked On NBA Discord server so you can trash the Lakers, which everyone loves doing. You can also you also get an ad-free audio feed of this podcast, so you don't have to worry about those pesky ads. Join at lockedonmagic.supercast.com to learn more. That's lockedonmagic.supercast.com to learn more. I hope the Paolo Banchero obsession, and I'll admit it, we talk about Paolo a lot. He's an important player, kind of a superstar on the team. I don't like obsessing over the ups and downs with these things. I really do mean that. It's about the long run. It's about just year over year. It's about stretches of games. It's not about judging him every single game and coming to these wide sweeping conclusions. But for those of you who think that I am very, very hard on Paolo, which I am, I hold him to a high standard because I think he can be a really great player. It's games like this one that make me really happy and really proud. And really, it's not even just this game. It's been this entire road trip. Whatever Paolo did on the All-Star break, it seems to have gotten his mind right. It seems to have gotten his body right. to some extent. There's still some holes that I worry about. And there's still some things that'll have to wait for the summer. But this turnaround, this the way that the Magic are playing does not happen without Paolo taking this sort of leap that he's taking. And maybe it's not like a humongous leap. Maybe it's not like, oh, like this is the definitive thing. This is this is the Paolo we've all been waiting for. There's still another level to this. Like, don't get me wrong. But we just needed to see Paolo contribute more clearly. And like I've said throughout the whole course of the season, my frustration with Paolo has been less about the numbers. And again, like the jumper needs to be better. Like I'm not saying, I'm not denying all that. It's less about the numbers and more about his impact on the game and how you feel his presence in everything that this team is doing. That's what the best players do. And I've said this throughout the course of the year. The team is going to get their energy from their best players. And with Franz out, with Jalen out, Desmond Bane is still like getting ingratiated in the group. I think he'll be one of those players if he's not already. But Paolo is an unquestioned leader of this team. He's going to have the ball in his hands more than anybody else. The Magic do need a lot from Paolo Banchero. And again, it is a lot to ask a 23-year-old to be a leader of men, even if all the men are the same age. Learning how to be a leader is a really tricky thing. And if that's ultimately what this season becomes about, and Paolo, learning and failing at being a leader and knowing, okay, I have to do this and not this, and I have to focus on this for me, for my team, then it'll be worth it in the long run. What we've started to see, though, from Paolo is closer to what we're looking for. Since January 1st, Paolo Banchero is averaging 23.3 points per game. Not the 25 he had last year, but certainly in a positive step. He has got 46.3% shooting, 38.7% from three, 79.2% from the foul line, with 8.4 rebounds and 5.3 assists per game. Like I mentioned, a big part of what I've been asking of him, not to mention 1.3 stocks per game. I'll get to that. A big thing that I've been asking of him is to get his fingerprints all over the game, to impact every level of the game, to be a leader and be a positive impactor. Like, we can do the plus minus thing. The Magic are minus 1.5 points per 100 possessions with him on the floor. They're like minus 4 with a 4.67, something like that, with him off the floor. I wouldn't say the Magic since January 1st, the Magic aren't necessarily winning his minutes, but they are appreciably worse when he's off the floor. And some of that is the bench is just really bad. Like the lineup that Desmond Bane has to play with Jett Howard, Jonathan Isaac, Mo Wagner, and Wendell Carter. That's a really rough lineup. It's had some moments, but it's really rough. Paolo gets the benefit of playing with a lot of the Magic's best players, and certainly playing with Anthony Black. In his last 10 games, though, last 10 games for Paolo, he's down to 21.7 points per game, shooting 42.4%, 37.5% from three, 81.2% for line, 7.4 rebounds, 5.3 assists per game. So he's clearly still finding it. But he's finding it more often now. And I imagine those outliers in that 10-game sample are going to quickly go away. Because Tuesday night was perhaps Paolo's best game of the season. Maybe it was the first Toronto game, which through 3 quarters was his best game of the season. Maybe there's a triple-double. I think he had a triple-double against Denver. Paolo's had some really good games. But this was the first time where it felt like he carried the scoring burden. First time in a long time, at least. Where it felt like he carried the scoring burden and looked like clearly the best player on the floor. Paolo finished this game with 36 points, one off his season high. 12 for 22 shooting, decent efficiency. 2 for 6 from three. Don't love him taking 6 threes, but he did. 10 for 11 from the foul line. That one miss coming very late in the game. 10 rebounds, 6 assists. He did have 4 turnovers. He did make some mistakes. The Magic were +6 in his minutes. The Magic won his minutes by 6 points. He scored 17 of those 36 points in the third quarter. With the Magic down by 12 after getting off to a slow start, Paolo simply took over. Got to the basket, made his layups, made some jumpers, made some tough jumpers at that, and just made sure the Magic stayed in touch, stayed in contact, so that they could take over and have their shot in the fourth quarter. So ultimately, all you really want on the road against a good team is a chance to win. And Desmond Bane took the baton in the fourth quarter. He had 12 of his points in the fourth quarter, 12 of his 22 points in the fourth quarter. Made some huge shots down the stretch, and that's all you need your star to do. You want him to get you to the finish line or get you over the finish line. And in this game, he got the Magic to the finish line, but it wasn't just the scoring. 4 of his 6 assists came in the first quarter. He saw the attention he was getting and set the tone. And more than that, he just looks unbothered now by defenses. Where I think defenses were frustrating him and giving him some problem because he couldn't either get by them or couldn't power his way through defenses. Now he just looks at a defense and it just feels like, oh, he's just like a velociraptor just reading it, figuring it out. And again, for the most part, he's figuring it out. For the most part, he is finding that way through. He is finding what he needs to do to break through and get where he needs to go, score where he needs to score, whatever the case may be. It's not even just on offense anymore. Paolo took on the challenge of guarding Kawhi Leonard on Sunday. And again, there were some missteps, there were some mistakes, but Kawhi found it tough to get by him. In this game, with the Lakers playing small, and the Magic struggling to defend Luka Doncic, and especially Luka Doncic, DeAndre Ayton pick and roll, Orlando put Paolo on Luka. Like, can you believe that sentence? Can you believe that was the case? They put Paolo on Luka. And we don't have the matchup data yet, so I'll update that on tomorrow if you just follow at Magic Daily. But yeah, like Paolo lost Luka on that corner 3 at the end toward the end of the fourth quarter. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say Paolo was perfect, but if we're going to be critical of Paolo's defense, we got to praise him when he takes on the challenge. When he says, I got the other team's best forward. And not only takes on that challenge, but delivers something. Again, I'm not going to sit here and say he was perfect. I'm not going to sit here and say he was amazing defensively. But Luka had a really tough night. And Paolo was a part of slowing that down. A big part of slowing that down with the way the Magic are switching and the way the Magic are doing everything. Paolo waved off switches. Like they was like, no, we can't have a smaller guy on Luka. We can't have Wendell all the time on Luka. I will take him. And so again, like obviously he scored the points. He did all that stuff. But the thing that's been wrong with Paolo this year has not been about stats. Like, yeah, he needs to shoot jumpers and make layups and that those stats matter. Again, like in the long run, yeah, like stats matter. They do tell us something. The problem this year has been something intangible. Something that you can't quite put your finger on, but you feel it. You know it. And I've described it as you get your best energy from your stars. And so if your star is pouting, if your star is complaining with the refs like Luka and LeBron were throughout this game, because frankly, I haven't watched much of the Lakers this year, being on the East Coast. This looks like the worst LeBron team I've seen. This is certainly the worst LeBron's ever played in his career. This felt like the worst LeBron team ever. And that includes his rookie year Cavs team, which was not particularly good. That was a rough game for the Lakers. They left a lot of points on the board. Just the Magic left a lot of points on the board. This is a rough Lakers team, I have to say. You get your energy from your star. And so when your star, who is not a particularly good defender, not known as a good defender, steps up and says, or steps up to the challenge, I don't know if Paolo said this, but steps up to the challenge of guarding the other team's best player and then does the job, how does everyone else not play hard? How does everyone else also not do their job? And that was the case throughout this whole road trip. Paolo dominated this road trip. I'm sure, had this great game against Sacramento. Everyone has good games against Sacramento. Didn't have a great shooting night in Phoenix, but willed the Magic back into that game to get it to overtime. Didn't have a great scoring performance against the Clippers, but was the perfect decoy and passer to get Desmond Bane the ball and take attention away from Dez as he tore up the Clippers defense. And then tonight against the Lakers, took over in the third quarter when it felt like the Magic were dead in the water. I've been asking for Paolo to be a leader, not just in word, but in deed. And that's exactly what he did tonight. That's exactly what he did against the Lakers. That's exactly what he did this entire road trip. And I said this after the Phoenix game. I think I said this after every game of this road trip, so I'll say it again. If this is the Paolo Banchero we're going to get for the rest of the season, the Magic are going to win a lot of games. They're going to be in the fight for 6. They may even climb to 5th because Toronto's got a rough schedule ahead. This is the Paolo the Magic have needed. And he is at least finally stepping up to the plate. Let's go through the rest of the box score. We'll talk about who else performed for the Orlando Magic, including a big breakout game from Wendell Carter. We'll talk about that coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by our friends over at Indeed. Workplace chaos, deadlines stacking up, inbox overflowing, and the one position you have to fill still sitting open. When the pressure's on and you need the right hire, this is a job for sponsored jobs from Indeed. Indeed sponsored jobs help you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for, skills, experience, location, so you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute that I will be reading this ad, and you've got to hold me to a minute or the client's going to yell at me. In the minute I'll be reading this ad, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you are hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed sponsored jobs. With Indeed, there's less stress, less time, and more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners of the show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire. This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. As we do after every game, let's run through the final box score as the Orlando Magic defeat the Los Angeles Lakers 110-109. Again, just a very weird game, but again, a game that felt like last year's Orlando Magic team. The Magic were gritty, they were gutsy, they didn't let mistakes kill them. You know, they didn't let mistakes compound. They didn't kind of mope like they have been for some of the season, where when shots don't fall, their defensive effort waned. It was not a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination. But Orlando did a lot of things that they have to do to win games. They won the paint. Again, I mentioned they didn't shoot particularly well in the paint, 29 for 54. They won the paint 58-50. They won second chance points 15-8. They won fast break points 8-5. Were 4 for 12 on fast break points. Left a lot of points on the board there. Orlando did a decent job getting the foul line, but Paolo got 11 free throw attempts. That's huge, even though Orlando only finished with 23. Paolo getting the line for 11 free throw attempts is huge. It's just always putting pressure on defenses, putting pressure on the basket. The Lakers certainly do that. They lead the league in free throw rate. They had 28 free throws. We can debate that later. We'll see what the last 2 minute report says on some of these. I don't think there's anything controversial. The high five replay, that'll be on the last 2 minute report. That's a rule they changed this year. I thought Luka kicked his leg out. I was kind of surprised they didn't give the foul to Luka and force the Magic into a jump ball. I would debate whether that shot clock should have been reset to 24 or 14, but maybe I don't know the rules. That's neither here nor there. This is about the rules. Paolo obviously was so good. 36 points, 12 for 22 shooting, 2 for 6 from 3, 10 for 11 from the foul line, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, did have 4 turnovers. But again, just a really solid game from Paolo. Just did so many things right, had complete control of the game. A lot more importantly, was playing with so much confidence. Again, I will repeat this. If the Paolo we saw from the last 4 games is the Paolo that we're going to get for the rest of the season, then things are going to be okay. Like this team's going to be fine. And even if Franz doesn't come back, this team is going to be fine. There are some offensive holes. We can talk about them later. Wendell Carter had perhaps his best game of the season. 20 points, 9 for 13 shooting, 11 rebounds, 2 assists. This dude was a beast all game long. This is a small Lakers team, especially when DeAndre Ayton's off the floor. And Carter from the very beginning was attacking it. If the Magic got a switch, Carter posted up. Like we saw some actual post-ups on smaller players. And I don't understand why the Magic don't do this more. Like they were able to create switches and create opportunities to get post-ups with smaller players. And they don't usually attack them. Like Wendell usually just hovers around the 3-point line. He attacked them in this game. And even when he caught the ball, like he missed a 3 early in the game. And he was like, okay, fine. I'm just going to attack the basket. He would pump fake, get guys a little bit off balance, attack them, attack their chest, like get to the rim and score around the basket. This was as good as Wendell Carter has played all year. He was aggressive. He was physical. Again, like he's a little late on some things. He does commit too many fouls and too many of these like little bump fouls with his hips. But at the end of the day, ball squirted out to him. He was in the right place at the right time. And it was always in the right place at the right time throughout the game to get huge buckets. Just a fantastic game from Wendell Carter. Desmond Bane finished with 22 points. Like I mentioned, he had 12 of them in the fourth quarter. 9 for 19 shooting, 2 for 8 from 3. Missed his first 5 or 6 threes, if I'm not mistaken. Certainly had to miss his first 6 if he made 2. Had 6 assists as well. Bane, I thought, was pretty solid. I like the looks that he was getting. Obviously, like he's on a heater right now, so you just expect everything to go in. But he was bound to have kind of a rough shooting night. But he made big threes when he had to make them. The 2 threes that he made were end of shot clock key from near midcourt. And it was just like, oh, of course, that's the one that goes in. And the second 3 he made was the one that gave the Magic a 1-point lead late in the fourth quarter. Really, really, really good stuff. I thought, again, he was physical defensively. Just did such a good job. He does such a good job getting the basket, and he's a lot more comfortable shooting mid-range jumpers now, which I think is ultimately going to be a good thing for the Magic. A really, really nice game from him, and again, contributed at the end. It was a rough road trip for Anthony Black. I think he'll be very happy to be home. 8 points, 4 for 13 shooting, 0 for 2 from 3, 0 for 4 from the foul line, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, did have 3 steals, did have 2 blocks. AB did some good things, especially on the defensive end. It was good to see him kind of get back to his defensive roots a little bit, especially because the shot wasn't falling. He was struggling to finish around the rim. He missed a couple shots in transition around the basket. The 4 missed free throws were really bad. One of them was late. That would have given the Magic, I believe, a 1-point lead or tied the game late in the fourth quarter. Again, like the Magic left a lot of points on the board. The Lakers left a lot of points on the board. Both teams will probably say we can be a lot better. AB has had this really nice season. I don't think one game or one stretch of games is going to take away from it. Coming back home, getting your legs back under you. You got 4-game homestand coming up. I do expect the Magic to again go 3-1 in that homestand. That would put them at 9-3 if that happens on the 12-game stretch that I mentioned mentioned before the All-Star break. Which again would be crazy. Would be really, really good. I'll take 9-3. I said 8-4 was the goal. 9-3 works really well too. And again, to get to 8-4 on that stretch, all you got to do is beat Washington and Dallas. Anything else is gravy. The Magic did a lot of really good things here, and I think that and again, like AB is doing good things. He's in the right spots. He's trying to do the right things. So it'll come back around for AB, especially with Franz still out for a little bit. Tristan da Silva added 13 points, 5 for 9 shooting, 3 for 5. Yes, Tristan da Silva had 3 of the Magic's 7 3-pointers, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. Again, just generally Tristan just did nice things. He's much more aggressive with the ball early in the game, and I really like that. I really like him looking to attack off the dribble a little bit more. But more than that, Orlando needed his 3-point shooting. Like, no one was hitting threes. I don't think the Magic hit a 3 in the first quarter. Tristan da Silva broke that seal and gave the Magic someone that they were confident, besides Desmond Bane, to make and take threes. The rest of the roster, just a really, really rough game. Jed Howard had 4 points, 1 for 5 shooting, over 3. The bloom is off the rose on Jed Howard. They don't really have anywhere else to turn. They could turn to Noah Penda. I wouldn't mind seeing Jamal Cain getting a crack, or Alex Morales getting a crack when they get home. Alex stayed with Osceola, I believe, during his trip, as did Colin Castleton, who's back playing again after the broken hand. Jet's just too all or nothing for me. Defensively, he's a lot better. The Lakers were still attacking him defensively and forcing him to defend, and he did some good things, and I want to reward him for that. But he's got to make shots. Like, that's ultimately his role. That's ultimately why he's in the NBA. And really, he only made shots in that Sacramento game. Javon Carter had a little bit of a rough game too. 0 points, 0 for 4 shooting. Carter is a little shot happier than I think I would like. It's one thing if he's making it like he did in Sacramento, like he did in Phoenix. He didn't in either game in Los Angeles. He seems to be hunting for his own shot a little bit too much. And again, you want some guys that are aggressive. It's just knowing the right time and the right place. And look, Javon Carter isn't the star on the team. He shouldn't be taking the most shots in certain lineups. Jonathan Isaac had another nice defensive game. 3 points, 1 for 3 shooting. Had a huge bucket late. So some good stuff from Jonathan Isaac. He continues to be really valuable. It's a good little stretch for him. He's doing some good things. Mo Wagner, 4 points, 2 for 6 shooting, 0 for 2 from 3. Mo is not shy, which I think is a good thing. He is trying to force things. He's trying to be in the post. This was, he played his first back-to-back on Sunday. He's still kind of getting his legs under him. You can tell that that's the case. And, look, generally Mo will give you a good 8, 9, 10 points. Didn't in this game, just it wasn't that game for him. He looked a little, again, he just still looks a step slow, or a step off of where he needs to be coming off the injury. I don't think we're at the point where Goga Bitadze needs to get some minutes just so he's ready to go for the playoffs. But I do think the Magic need to seriously evaluate where Mo is at and say, okay, is this good enough for what we're trying to do in the playoffs? For now, I think it is. But I do think they need to be ready to switch to Goga if he doesn't continue to be consistently good. Again, one bad game out of every 4 isn't going to kill you, but I do worry about that a little bit. Orlando shot 45.7% from the floor. They had 94 field goal attempts to Los Angeles 83. That's because they had 12 offensive rebounds. They forced 12 turnovers, only 4 points off those 12 turnovers. So the Magic did not take advantage of that. LA had 14 points off Orlando's 11 turnovers. So those turnovers were a bit of an issue. Magic were 17 of 23 from the line, 7 for 29 from 3. They added 12 stocks in the game as well. LA had 14, so go figure. The Lakers, again, led in scoring by Luka Doncic with 22. Austin Reed, DeAndre Ayton had 21, killed the Magic in pick and rolls. They were switching everything. And so Ayton was able to slip screens for dunks, or just essentially seal Anthony Black or whichever guard was defending him in the paint. So the Magic adjusted that. They moved a bigger player on to Luka Doncic. And I think generally the Magic's bigger lineups bugged the Lakers a lot. Just putting some size on Luka, I think, bugged him. LeBron's not the LeBron you remember. This is definitely late stage LeBron. It finally looks like Father Time's caught up to LeBron. He is not the same player. At least in this game, he wasn't that we remember. And the Lakers just looked a little lost. Again, I just don't feel like the Lakers. I don't feel like the Lakers kind of knew how to, either didn't know how to play together, or were just reliant on their star players to do everything for them. It just all looked a little off kilter. Rui Hachimura was the only Laker to score 10 points or more off the bench. He had 10 points, 4 for 7 shooting, 2 for 5. Had a big 3 in the fourth quarter, but at the end of the day, not enough from the Lakers. Plenty enough from the Magic. Orlando gets a 110-109 victory. 3-1 on this road trip. They're heading back home. They'll head back home on Wednesday. and then they'll play the Houston Rockets on national TV on Thursday. Houston on the second night of a back-to-back to play the Kings on Wednesday night. You can check out Locked On Rockets to get ready for that game. But that's going to do it for me today. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. Of course, find me on Twitter at PhilipRR_OMD and on Blue Sky at PhilipRR. You can subscribe to the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Hemlow, Google Play, Spotify, Odyssey, and all the Flying Season on podcasts to your podcast-enabled device. You can check us out on YouTube as well. Just search for Locked On Magic. For the latest on the Orlando Magic, be sure to check out OrlandoMagicDaily.com. You can find us on Twitter at OMagicDaily. And for even more Orlando Magic content, be sure to check out my Patreon page, the Orlando Magic Hub, at patreon.com/Orlando Magic Hub. I will be breaking down how Paolo Banchero got himself going during this road trip. We'll do that on the Patreon page at Orlando Magic Hub. You can also check out our Everydayer Club at lockedonmagic.supercast.com. That's lockedonmagic.supercast.com to get access to our ad-free audio feed as well as our Locked On Magic Discord server. For those of you on video, we're going to send you the first ever 24/7 National NBA YouTube channel. On audio, make sure you make your second listen NBA Game Night on Locked On NBA. But that's going to do it for me today. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. We'll be back tomorrow for another episode. But until then, for Orlando Magic Daily and Locked On Magic, this has been Phil Prosper. We'll see you all again next time for another episode of Locked On Magic.